Part 1. Wake up with Purpose. Early morning. The world is quiet. The streets are empty. Somewhere, an alarm rings. A man opens his eyes, sighs heavily, and hits the snooze button. He lies there, staring at the ceiling, already dreading the day. He feels tired, not because his body needs more sleep, but because his spirit has nothing to rise for. He doesn't know why he's getting up, other than the fact that he has to. Across town, at that same moment, another man wakes before his alarm. He sits up straight, takes a deep breath, and smiles. His day hasn't even started, yet he feels alive. Why? Because he knows exactly why he is getting out of bed. He has a purpose, something meaningful pulling him forward. Two people, same morning. But the path of their lives will not be the same. One drifts, the other directs. One survives, the other creates. This is the first great secret Napoleon Hill discovered in his lifelong study of success. Those who rise with a definite purpose live differently than those who drift. Hill called it definiteness of purpose. He believed it was the starting point of all achievement. And he warned about its opposite, what he called drifting. A drifter wakes up because the sun has risen, not because his soul has. He allows life to push him here and there, never really choosing his own direction. And here's the truth. Most people drift. They rise tired, they move through routines half asleep, and before they know it, weeks, months, even years have slipped away. Then comes the haunting question, what have I truly done with my time? Maybe you've felt that way before, like life is just happening to you, rather than you shaping it. That restless, empty feeling? It comes from lack of purpose. But there is another way. Imagine waking up each morning with fire in your heart. Imagine knowing exactly why you are rising. You stretch, take a deep breath, and instead of dread, you feel strength. You know where you're going and what today means for the future you dream of. That's the power of waking with purpose. Purpose is not just an idea. It is the invisible thread that connects your actions today with the future you long for. It turns ordinary mornings into powerful beginnings, and it transforms simple tasks into meaningful steps. History gives us examples of this truth everywhere. Think of Thomas Edison. The man failed thousands of times before finally creating the light bulb. But failure never kept him in bed. Each morning, he woke with the same determination, to bring light to the world. Without that purpose, the endless trials would have crushed him. With purpose, he became unstoppable. Or consider Mahatma Gandhi. He lived simply, but every day he rose with the burning purpose of bringing freedom and dignity to his people. His strength was not in wealth or armies, but in the clarity of his purpose. It made him unbreakable. But purpose is not only for great leaders and inventors. It is for you. Picture a farmer. He rises before dawn, not because farm work is easy, but because he has a clear vision. He plows, plants, waters, harvests. To an outsider, it may look repetitive, even boring. But to him, it is life itself. His purpose, to feed his family, his village, himself, gives him strength. Even when storms destroy his crops, he wakes again the next morning and begins anew. Purpose keeps him steady where others would quit. Now, let's bring this closer to your life. Maybe your purpose is to build something, your career, your business, your craft. Maybe it's to learn, to heal, to help others, or to grow into the person you know you can be. Whatever it is, it must be clear. Because without clarity, you'll drift. And drifting is the silent killer of dreams. So, how do you rise with purpose? Napoleon Hill would say, decide before you sleep. Each night, set a clear intention. Ask yourself, why will I rise tomorrow? Write it down if you can. Don't make it vague. Don't say, to get through the day. Say instead, to move one step closer to building my dream business. Or, to strengthen my body and mind. Or, to grow in knowledge so I can serve others. Then, when you wake, pause before the noise of the world begins. Breathe deeply. Recall your purpose. Feel it. Let it guide you like a compass. Over time, this practice transforms you. You stop drifting. You stop living as if life is something happening to you. You become the one shaping it. Challenges will still come, yes. But instead of breaking you, they become tests of your resolve. Problems lose their power when you rise with a reason. And here's the beautiful part. When you live with purpose, the people around you notice. Your family, your friends, your coworkers, They feel the energy, the steadiness, the direction. You inspire them, even without words. Remember, the sun rises every day whether you're ready or not. Don't rise aimlessly, like a leaf carried by the wind. Rise with intention. Rise with courage. Rise knowing today is your chance to shape destiny. Napoleon Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But belief begins with purpose. Without purpose, belief is weak. With it, belief becomes unshakable. So tomorrow morning, when your eyes open, don't just wake. Rise. Rise for something that matters. Rise with purpose. Because when you wake up with purpose daily, you do more than live. You begin leading yourself toward greatness. And over time, the world will see it too. You are no longer drifting. You are creating a life that matters. That is the mark of someone truly awake. Backhand index pointing right. That's part 1. 1000 words, story-driven, Napoleon Hill, style, simple American English. Would you like me to continue and draft part 2, start strong, win your day in the same style next? Part 2, start strong, win your day. The battlefield is not always made of blood and steel. Sometimes, it begins in your bedroom, in the first moments of dawn. Picture this, the alarm rings. One person groans, hits the snooze button, and drifts back into restless sleep. Another throws off the covers, sits up straight, takes a deep breath, and greets the day with clarity. Both live under the same sun. Both face the same hours ahead. But their destinies? Completely different. Why? Because the way you begin decides the way you finish. Napoleon Hill said it best. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. And nowhere is this battle more visible than in the morning. The first move is yours. Every sunrise is a challenge laid at your feet. Will you step into it with strength, or will you let weakness take control? Begin weak, and the day will own you. Begin strong, and you will command it. Life is not a smooth road. It is a series of battles, both seen and unseen. Some battles are against the world, tasks, demands, deadlines, problems. But the greatest battle is within, against fear, laziness, distraction, and doubt. The good news? The first move is always yours. The moment you rise, you are deciding who will win. Your first breath, your first thought, your first step, they either strengthen you or weaken you. The secret, then, is simple: start strong. History's morning warriors. Look back through history, and you'll see this truth. Great leaders, creators, and visionaries didn't leave their mornings to chance. They treated the first moments of the day as sacred. Take Alexander the Great. His victories didn't begin when swords clashed. They began in the quiet of the morning, when he prepared his mind for conquest. His clarity, his resolve, his vision, all of it was sharpened before the first command was given. Or think of Florence Nightingale. Surrounded by sickness, exhaustion, and resistance, she began her mornings not in despair, but with steady purpose. Her ritual of reflection and preparation gave her strength to serve others in conditions that would have broken most people. Greatness is not born at random. It is prepared in the stillness of the morning. The apprentice's lesson. Imagine a young apprentice in a blacksmith's shop. If he arrives late, tired, and unfocused, his hands slip. His master shakes his head, trust is lost, and opportunities vanish. But if he arrives early, alert and ready, something changes. His hammer strikes true. His skill grows. His master sees his discipline and gives him more responsibility. In time, he becomes a master himself. What changed? Not luck. Not talent. But the way he began each day. The foundation of his future was laid in those early hours. Just as a house cannot stand on shaky ground, a life cannot stand on weak mornings. The drift versus the strong start. Now let's bring this closer to home. How often do people wake up, rush into the noise of the world, and lose themselves before the day has even begun? They grab their phones. Their minds are flooded with demands. Their spirit is unsettled. And before long, they are reacting instead of directing. The result? Stress, distraction, frustration. The day controls them, instead of the other way around. Contrast that with a strong start. A morning where you pause, breathe, and set intention before chaos arrives. A morning where you choose focus over distraction, discipline over delay. That strong start becomes a shield. It does not erase challenges, but it arms you with clarity and courage to face them. Napoleon Hill's wisdom. Napoleon Hill discovered this principle while studying the most successful people of his time. He noticed they were not casual about beginnings. They prepared themselves with rituals of clarity and discipline. He called it definiteness of purpose in action, directing the mind before the world could direct it for you. Hill taught that drifting begins in the morning. Those who wake without plan drift into distraction. Those who wake with purpose, with ritual, with discipline, they bend the day toward their will. Your strong start. So how can you start strong? It begins the night before. Don't let tomorrow surprise you. Decide how you will rise. Write it down if you can. When morning comes, protect the first few minutes. They are yours alone. Breathe deeply. Think of what matters most today. Remind yourself of the purpose that drives you. Move with intention, even in small actions. It could be stretching your body, writing a single line in your journal, or sitting in silence to gather your thoughts. What matters is not the size of the ritual, but the strength of the intention behind it. This simple act transforms your mornings from reaction to creation. The warrior within you. Imagine tomorrow morning. Instead of rolling over and sighing, you rise. You breathe with strength. You take a moment for silence. You move with purpose. By doing so, you have already won a victory before the world has thrown a single challenge your way. That victory strengthens you. It gives you energy that lasts beyond the morning hours. You carry it into your work, your conversations, your challenges. Even when the day grows hard, you are not shaken, because you began with power. The law of the first hour. Think of it like this. The first hour of your day is the foundation of the rest. If you begin weak, the cracks spread. But if you begin strong, the structure holds. Start your morning with intention, and you carry that strength forward. Lose it, and you will spend the rest of the day trying to catch up. Closing. Rise like a leader. Remember this truth. The way you start determines how you finish. Do not stumble into your mornings. Do not give away your power before you have claimed it. Rise with courage. Rise with focus. Rise with strength. When you claim the morning, you claim the day. And when you claim the day, you begin shaping the destiny that waits beyond it. So tomorrow, when the alarm rings, choose to rise like a leader, not a drifter. Start strong. Win your day. Because greatness does not begin in grand moments. It begins in the quiet, unseen decision of how you rise. Backhand index pointing right. That's part 2. 1,000 words, story-driven, Napoleon Hill, style, simple American English. Would you like me to continue straight into part 3, morning rituals that transform you in the same style? Part 3, the morning that shapes your destiny. Hook, a hidden treasure few ever claim. Most people think success is built in boardrooms, on battlefields, or in grand moments of decision. But the truth is far quieter. Success is born in the first hour of the morning. It is in those hidden minutes, when the world still sleeps, that the great divide between the average person and the extraordinary one begins. Napoleon Hill once wrote that every person is either the master of their fate or the victim of it, and that mastery begins with thought. But here is the secret most people miss. The best time to take control of your thoughts is at dawn. If you win the morning, you win the day. And if you win the day, you begin to shape a destiny of power and purpose. Let me tell you why. 1. The student who found her power. Picture a young student. Let's call her Emily. Emily was smart, full of potential, but every morning she was running late. She rushed out the door, half awake, stressed before the day even started. And because her mornings were chaotic, so were her afternoons, and so were her nights. One day, tired of feeling behind, Emily made a small decision. She would wake up just 30 minutes earlier. At first, she didn't know what to do with that time. So she simply sat in silence, breathing deeply, writing a few lines in a notebook, and eating breakfast without rushing. Within weeks, her teachers noticed she was sharper, calmer, and more confident. Her grades improved. She wasn't smarter than before. She was the same Emily. But her mornings had changed, and so had her life. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he said habits shape destiny. The habit of owning your morning plants the seed for greatness. 2. Why your mornings matter most. Think of your morning as the foundation of a house. If the foundation is cracked, it doesn't matter how beautiful the walls are, the structure will fall apart. But if the foundation is strong, everything else stands firm. That's why Aristotle called habit a second nature. Napoleon Bonaparte rose before his soldiers, using dawn to prepare for victory. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, spent the early hours reflecting so he could rule with wisdom. These men understood a truth that still applies to us today: the way you begin determines the way you live. Now think of your own life. If you start your day rushing, scattered, already stressed, you hand control of your mind to chaos. But if you start calm, clear, and intentional, you set the rhythm for success. 3. Fuel your mind before sunrise. Napoleon Hill often warned that the mind is like a fertile garden. If you don't plant seeds of purpose, weeds of doubt and fear will grow instead. The best time to plant those seeds? Before sunrise. The early hours hold a sacred power. The world is quiet, distractions are few, and your thoughts are untouched by the noise of the day. This is when you can read, reflect, pray, visualize, or simply breathe and remind yourself of your purpose. Think of it like a fire. You can't expect it to burn all day if you never place wood in it. Your mind is that fire. The wisdom, focus, and intention you add each morning are the wood that keeps it burning strong. Tesla, the brilliant inventor, used the silence of early mornings to shape ideas that changed the world. He didn't wait for clarity. He created it by honoring those hidden hours. You can do the same. 4. The craftsman's lesson. Imagine a craftsman who works with wood. If he rushes into his shop with dull tools and no plan, his work will be sloppy and full of mistakes. But if he begins with patience, sharpening his blades, arranging his tools, and envisioning what he wants to create, his work becomes precise and powerful. Life is no different. You are the craftsman. Your day is the masterpiece. Your morning is the moment you sharpen your tools. The tools are your thoughts, your energy, and your actions. If they are dull and scattered, the day will break you. But if they are sharp and focused, you will shape the day. 5. Create your morning routine now. Here's the practical part. You don't need a perfect morning routine with 100 steps. You just need a few simple actions that give you power. For some, it's 5 minutes of silence and breathing. For others, it's a short walk, a stretch, a prayer, or writing down 3 goals for the day. What matters is not complexity, but consistency. Napoleon Hill taught that success comes not from sudden leaps, but from small, consistent acts repeated daily. A morning routine is your daily act of mastery. Over time, it becomes second nature. It's no longer a task, it's simply who you are. 6. The secret to daily success. Here is the truth few people ever learn. Success is not built at night when you're exhausted. It is not built in sudden bursts of effort. Success is built quietly, in the morning, when you decide who you will be before the world decides for you. The people who change their mornings change their lives. They enter each day not as victims of circumstance but as leaders of their own destiny. So tomorrow, when the alarm rings, remember this: you hold the pen that writes your future. Rise with discipline. Begin with courage. Fuel your mind before sunrise. Because when you master the morning, you don't just improve the start of your day, you transform the story of your life. Fire word count 1050. Fits your request for 1000. Fire 6 clear sections. Fire storytelling with Emily, the craftsman, historical figures, and Napoleon Hill's philosophy woven throughout. Fire simple, engaging American English. Part 4. The power of purpose and burning desire. Hook. The fire that separates winners from dreamers. Why do some people achieve incredible success while others, just as talented, struggle their entire lives? The answer is not luck. It is not chance. Napoleon Hill discovered that the secret lies in one thing: a burning desire backed by a clear purpose. He said, "The starting point of all achievement is desire. But not a weak wish. Not a passing thought. A deep, relentless fire that refuses to die until the dream is real." Let me tell you a story that shows the difference. 1. The gold miner who quit too soon during the California gold rush. A man named R.U. Darby and his uncle staked a claim and began digging. At first, excitement was high. They struck a little gold, enough to keep their hopes alive. But after weeks of hard work, the veins seemed to disappear. Discouraged, they gave up and sold their equipment to a junk man for a few $100s. That junk man hired a mining engineer, who studied the land and discovered the Darbys had stopped digging just 3 feet away from one of the richest gold veins in history. Darby learned his lesson. Later in life, he built a successful insurance business, guided by a new principle: never stop 3 feet from gold. What was missing in those early days? A burning desire and a definite purpose. Without them, discouragement wins. With them, nothing can stop you. 2. Why purpose is your guiding star. Purpose is like the North Star for sailors. It doesn't matter how stormy the sea gets. If you can see the star, you know where to go. Without purpose, people drift. They chase one idea today, another tomorrow, never building momentum. With purpose, even small steps have meaning, because they're all moving in one direction. Napoleon Hill interviewed hundreds of the most successful men of his time: Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison. Every one of them had a clear purpose and pursued it with burning desire. Ford wanted to build affordable cars for the common man. Carnegie wanted to build steel empires. Edison wanted to light the world. Their genius wasn't just talent, it was focus. 3. The young man who decided. Let me tell you about Edwin C. Barnes, a man with no money, no education, and no connections. What he did have was a burning desire to work with Thomas Edison. Barnes didn't send a letter asking for a job. He didn't dream about someday. He boarded a freight train, rode to New Jersey with nothing in his pockets, and showed up at Edison's office declaring he had come to work with him. Edison saw something in Barnes's eyes: desire. Not wishful thinking, but determination. Edison gave him a lowly job, sweeping floors. Most people would have quit. But Barnes held to his purpose. Years later, when Edison invented the Ediphone, he needed someone with the fire to sell it. Who did he choose? Barnes, the man who had dreamed, worked, and persisted until his desire became reality. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." 4. Turning desire into fuel. Think of desire as the fire in a steam engine. Without fire, the engine doesn't move. With fire, it can pull the heaviest loads across the land. But here's the secret: desire alone is not enough. It must be definite. Vague dreams create vague results. A person who says, "I want to be successful," will drift. But the one who says, "I will build a business that serves 1 million customers," has fuel with direction. Napoleon Hill called this a definite major purpose. It's the single goal you commit your mind and heart to until it becomes reality. Every decision, every action, every thought is filtered through that purpose. When your purpose is definite and your desire is burning, obstacles become stepping stones instead of roadblocks. 5. The soldier who burned his boats. History gives us a dramatic example. Centuries ago, a commander led his soldiers across the sea to face a powerful enemy. His men were afraid. They were outnumbered. As they landed, the commander gave a shocking order: burn the boats. The men panicked. "How will we return home?" The commander replied, "We will go home in the enemy's ships, or not at all." With no retreat, the soldiers fought with burning desire and overwhelming focus. They won a battle that seemed impossible. Napoleon Hill used this story to teach that if you want success, you must cut off all escape routes. Give yourself no option but victory. That's how burning desire transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. 6. Your call to action. So how do you apply this in your own life? Begin by asking yourself 3 questions. 1. What do I truly want? Not what others expect, but what burns inside me. 2. Why does it matter? A strong why creates strong desire. 3. What will I give in return? Every dream has a price, in effort, persistence, or sacrifice. Decide now that you are willing to pay it. Then, write down your purpose clearly. Repeat it to yourself every morning and every night, until it burns into your mind. Picture it as already real. Feel the emotion of it. Napoleon Hill called this autosuggestion, the practice of feeding your mind with the belief that your purpose will come true. Remember, it is not talent that shapes destiny. It is not luck. It is a burning desire so strong that failure cannot stop it, doubt cannot kill it, and time cannot weaken it. So decide today. Plant the seed of a definite purpose. Guard it fiercely. Fuel it daily with desire. And one day, you will look back and realize that this decision, the decision to live with purpose, was the moment your destiny began to change. Fire word count: 1040. Fire 6 sections. Fire clear story flow. Gold miner purpose as guiding star. Edwin Barnes desire as fuel. Burn the boats. Call to action. Fire based on Napoleon Hill's philosophy. Fire written in storytelling style. Easy for an American YouTube audience. Do you want me to make part 5 focus on persistence and resilience, how to keep going when failures hit, since that naturally follows desire and purpose? Part 5, Persistence, the bridge between desire and success. Hook, why most people quit too soon. Have you ever noticed how many people start strong, but never finish? They get excited about a new idea, a new plan, a new dream. For a week or two, they're on fire. But when obstacles appear, when the work gets hard, when results are slow, they give up. Napoleon Hill said that persistence is the key that transforms burning desire into reality. Without persistence, desire fades into disappointment. With persistence, desire becomes destiny. Let me tell you a story that shows the difference. 1. The dream that took 1,000 nights. There was once a young man who wanted to build a better lamp. He dreamed of lighting homes, streets, and cities with electricity instead of oil. His name was Thomas Edison. Most people know Edison for inventing the light bulb. What they forget is that it took him over 1,000 attempts before he succeeded. 1,000 failures. When asked how he kept going, Edison replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That is persistence. While others would have quit after 10 failures, or even after 100, Edison pressed on until his dream became real. Today, the world is lit because of his persistence. 2. The farmer's lesson. Think about a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't see a harvest the next morning. For weeks, nothing happens above the soil. A weak farmer might give up, thinking his effort was wasted. But the wise farmer knows the truth. Growth happens underground before it appears above ground. Life is the same. Your efforts may not show results immediately. But if you keep working, keep watering, keep nurturing, eventually the harvest comes. Napoleon Hill said, "Most people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. A few carry on in spite of all opposition until they attain their goal. These few are the Fords, Carnegies, Rockefellers." Persistence separates the dreamers from the doers. 3. The salesman who refused to quit. One of Napoleon Hill's most powerful stories is about a little girl and a stubborn man. A farmer owed money to a wealthy man. The farmer's young daughter stood before that man and demanded, "My mother says you must give us our money." The man shouted at her, told her to leave. But the little girl stayed. She repeated her demand again and again. Finally, the man gave in. Hill explained that success often comes the same way. Life will test you. It will tell you no. It will push you back. But if you keep standing, keep asking, keep demanding, life will eventually yield. Persistence is about refusing to leave the field until victory is won. 4. The Steel King's secret. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, began as a poor boy working in a factory. He had little education and no connections. But he had persistence. Carnegie faced rejection after rejection as he built his steel empire. Banks doubted him. Competitors mocked him. The economy crashed more than once. Yet he pressed on, guided by the belief that steel would transform America. His persistence not only made him wealthy, but also allowed him to fund libraries, schools, and charities across the nation. Carnegie's story shows that persistence is not about luck. It is about refusing to quit, even when everything around you screams that you should. 5. How to build persistence in your own life. Persistence is not something you're born with, it's something you build. Napoleon Hill described persistence as a habit, created through discipline and desire. Here are 3 steps to strengthen it. 1. Have a definite purpose. If your dream is vague, you'll quit easily. A clear purpose gives you fuel to keep going. 2. Expect resistance. Don't be surprised by setbacks. Anticipate them, and decide in advance that you will push through. 3. Take daily action. Even small steps, taken consistently, build the habit of persistence. Think of persistence like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it grows. At first, it feels heavy to keep going. But after weeks and months, persistence becomes your natural way of living. 6. Your call to action. Don't stop 3 feet from goal. Remember the story of Darby, who stopped digging just 3 feet away from one of the richest gold veins ever discovered? Most people live like Darby. They quit too soon. But here's the truth. Your breakthrough might be closer than you think. The moment you feel most discouraged, the moment you're tempted to quit, That is often the moment just before success. Napoleon Hill said, "Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting." So here's your challenge. Think of the dream you've been tempted to give up on. Decide today that you will persist, no matter how long it takes. Take one small step every day, even when progress feels invisible. Because persistence is the bridge between desire and success. Without it, dreams fade. With it, anything is possible. Fire word count 1 0 20 fire 6 sections. Hook Edison farmer salesman / girl Carnegie action. Fire story driven. Simple American English fire rooted in Napoleon Hill's philosophy. Part 6. The hidden door of persistence. Thomas sat at his desk late into the night. The lamp burned low, his papers were scattered, and his hands trembled from exhaustion. For weeks he had knocked on doors, written letters, spoken to men of influence, and every answer came back the same. No. But this was not a small dream he carried. This was his life's vision. And though the world laughed, though friends advised him to give up, though even his family began to whisper that perhaps he was chasing illusions, Thomas refused to surrender, because somewhere deep inside, a whisper stronger than fear kept saying, "The door is closer than you think." The principle of persistence. Napoleon Hill taught us that persistence is the iron key that unlocks doors no man can shut. It is the difference between a fleeting wish and a burning desire fulfilled. So many people stop when resistance shows up. They quit when results are delayed. They misread rejection as a final verdict instead of what it truly is, a test of faith. But Hill wrote that every failure, every defeat, carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. And only the persistent ever live long enough to harvest it. The story of Edison's light. Let me remind you of a man we all know, Thomas Edison. When the world demanded light, he experimented not once, not twice, not 100 times, but more than 10,000 times. Each attempt failed. Each design collapsed. Each filament burned out. But Edison refused to call it failure. Instead, he said, "I have not failed. I've simply found 10,000 ways that will not work." His persistence did not just invent the light bulb. It revealed a secret, that the world belongs to those who stay when others leave, who keep walking when others sit down, who believe when others mock. The 3 tests of persistence. When you decide to persist, you will be tested. Hill outlines these tests clearly, and they appear in every story of success. 1. The test of delay. You will ask, "Why is it taking so long?" Days will stretch into months, months into years. Persistence is measured not by how you act in the first mile, but in the 100th point. 2. The test of rejection. Friends may not support you. Business partners may abandon you. Investors may say no. Rejection is not the world saying you are wrong, it is the world asking, "Do you believe enough to keep going without applause?" 3. The test of doubt. The greatest enemy lies within, that voice at night that whispers, "Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe this dream is impossible." Persistence means answering back. "I may not have all the answers, but I will not quit until I do." Story of Colonel Sanders. Consider Colonel Harlan Sanders. At the age of 65, retired, broke, and living off a tiny Social Security check, he had nothing but a fried chicken recipe. He knocked on restaurant doors, offering to share it for a small percentage of sales. The first said no. The second said no. The 10th, the 100th, the 200th, still no. But he persisted. Door after door, rejection after rejection, over 1,009 times. And then finally, one restaurant said yes. That yes gave birth to Kentucky Fried Chicken, a global empire. Imagine if he had quit after 500 rejections. After 700. After 1,000. The secret was not the chicken. The secret was persistence. How to build persistence. Persistence is not luck. It is not talent. It is a muscle you build. Napoleon Hill gives us the formula. 1. Definite purpose. You must know what you want with crystal clarity. Vague wishes collapse under pressure. But a definite purpose fuels persistence. Point 2. Burning desire. If your desire is weak, you will quit. If your desire is on fire, you will crawl through storms to reach it. Point 3. Faith. Faith is seeing the invisible, believing the impossible, and holding firm until the inevitable appears. Point 4. A plan. Plans may fail. That is expected. But persistence means adjusting the plan, not abandoning the dream. Point 5. A mastermind. Surround yourself with those who believe, not with those who mock. A mastermind group is the fuel station for persistence. Story: The Hidden Gold Hill shares the story of the Darby family, who dug for gold during the Colorado Rush. They struck a vein, invested everything, and began mining. But soon, the vein disappeared. They dug and dug until exhaustion set in. Convinced the gold was gone, they sold their machinery to a junk man for pennies. That junk man hired an engineer, who examined the land carefully. The result? The Darby family had stopped just 3 feet away from the richest gold vein ever found in Colorado. 3 feet. They gave up too soon. But the junk man, with persistence and wise counsel, became wealthy. The lesson? You may be 3 feet from gold right now. Your life. The call to persist. Think about your own life. Maybe you've tried a business that failed. Maybe you've been rejected in love. Maybe you've knocked on doors, sent applications, prayed, worked, waited, and still the answer has been no. But let me tell you something Hill repeats again and again. No one is ever defeated until they quit in their own mind. The difference between success and failure is often a single decision, the decision to try one more time. Final thought: so tonight, as you lay in bed, remember this: Edison kept going. Sanders kept going. Hill kept going. And so must you. Because persistence is not about talent. It's about faith. It's about fire. It's about holding on one more day, one more step, one more try. The dream you carry is not a mistake. The delays are not denials. Your door will open if you refuse to stop knocking. Call to action: if this story touched you, if you believe persistence is your missing key, then don't keep it to yourself. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe to this channel for more Napoleon Hill inspired wisdom. Backhand index pointing right. Share this video with someone who's about to give up. Backhand index pointing right, and leave a comment below. I will persist until I succeed. Because your words may not only remind you, they may inspire someone else standing just 3 feet from gold. Would you like me to outline part 7 for you, so we keep the flow of the series consistent before I draft the full 1,000-word script? Part 7. The Master Key. Destiny is in your hands. The room was quiet, but inside his heart there was a storm. James sat at his desk late at night, staring at the notebook in front of him. For months, he had been listening, reading, and practicing small lessons. He had tried waking up earlier, writing his thoughts, imagining a bigger future, focusing on one habit, and persisting even when he felt like quitting. Yet tonight something different stirred in him. He whispered to himself, almost in disbelief. Could it be true? Could my entire destiny really be in my hands? This was the same question that Napoleon Hill asked 100 years ago while studying the world's most successful men: Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford. Hill discovered that success is not a matter of luck. It's not about who your parents were, or where you came from, or even how much money you start with. No. Success is built inside, and then it is expressed outside. And now, after walking through 6 steps with you, it is time for the final part. The master key that ties everything together. The story of the locked door. Imagine a giant locked door standing before you. Behind it lies the life you want: freedom, confidence, financial independence, meaningful work, strong relationships, and peace of mind. Most people walk past this door every day, never knowing it exists. Others see it, but they shake their heads and think, "Not for me. I wasn't born lucky." But then, there are a few, the builders, the dreamers, the doers, who stop, who touch the handle, and who begin searching for the key. Napoleon Hill discovered that this key is not one thing, but a collection of principles working together. And the master key is knowing that you control the process. Your mind, your habits, your vision, your persistence, they form the skeleton key that opens the door. James, sitting at his desk that night, realized this truth. I've been carrying the key all along. I just never believed it. Destiny shaped by daily choices. Think back over this series. Each part was not just a lesson, but a piece of the key. Part 1 taught us about clarity and decision, the fire that begins everything. Part 2 showed us the power of morning rituals, claiming your day before the world claims it. Part 3 revealed the ripple effect of mastering just one habit. Part 4 unlocked imagination, the workshop where all progress is born. Part 5 explored faith and belief, the invisible bridge between thought and reality. Part 6 hammered persistence, the courage to keep going when everything screams to stop. And now, part 7 tells us that none of these are random. They are steps on a single staircase that leads to one truth: you are the architect of your life. Every choice you make, whether to rise early or sleep late, to imagine boldly or settle for small, to persist or to quit, etches the blueprint of your destiny. Destiny is not something waiting for you in the distance. It is something you build with the hammer and nails of daily decisions. A story of two lives. Let me give you a story. Two friends, Mark and Daniel, grew up in the same town. Both faced hardships, both wanted a better life. Mark always said, "Someday I'll make it big." He waited for luck, for the economy to improve, for someone to give him a chance. His mornings were rushed, his mind cluttered, his days reactive. Years passed, and nothing changed. Daniel, however, chose a different path. He read Napoleon Hill's principles and decided to test them. He woke earlier each day, wrote his goals, built one small habit, and refused to quit when challenges came. At first, his progress seemed invisible. But after a year, he was sharper, stronger, and more confident. After 5 years, he owned a growing business, inspired others, and lived with freedom. Same town, same challenges, same opportunities. The only difference? Daniel realized the master key was in his hands. Napoleon Hill's closing lesson in Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill ends with a powerful idea. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This is not just about money. It's about life itself. Conceive it, see it in your mind. Believe it, carry faith that it can be yours. Achieve it, through decisions, rituals, habits, imagination, faith, and persistence. You are not a victim of chance. You are a creator of destiny. James unlocks the door that night. James closed his notebook and smiled for the first time in weeks. He realized that he had been waiting for permission from the world, from his family, from fate itself. But the truth was simple: no permission was needed. The door was before him, and the key was already in his hand. The next morning, James rose before the sun. He sat quietly, breathing deeply, his thoughts steady. He wrote down one goal for the day, imagined his bigger future, and reminded himself of his burning desire. He did not wait for inspiration. He acted with intention. That day was not perfect. Challenges still came. But for the first time, James did not feel like life was happening to him. He felt like he was happening to life. That is the power Napoleon Hill wanted you to feel. That is the master key. Your turn, and now, I turn to you. The series may be ending, but your story is just beginning. Ask yourself, what is the one decision I must make today? What ritual will help me claim my mornings? What single habit can I master this month? What vision of the future burns inside me? Do I truly believe it can be mine? And will I persist, no matter what, until the door opens? If you commit to these steps, your destiny will no longer be a mystery. It will be your creation. Final words and call to action. This was part 7, the grand finale of our journey through Napoleon Hill's timeless wisdom. If these words have touched you, inspired you, or lit a fire in your spirit, then I ask one thing: backhand index pointing right. Subscribe to this channel, so you never miss what comes next. Backhand index pointing right. Share this with someone who needs encouragement, who might be standing in front of their own locked door. Backhand index pointing right, and most of all, leave a comment below. Tell me, which key are you holding right now? And which door are you ready to unlock? Remember this: your destiny is not written in the stars. It is written by your own hand. And the pen is in your grasp today. The journey is yours. The time is now. The master key is waiting.